So basically everything that we learned in section 1, we are going to keep using in section 2, especially with that whole absolute value thing. We'll keep using it and keep applying that here. Section 2, we are going to learn how to multiply and divide radical expressions. For now, we're going to focus on the multiplying. But before we get going with that, a little bit of vocab to go along with our radical expressions. If you have the nth root of something, whatever root we're taking is called the index. And whatever is underneath your radical symbol, whatever is underneath the root, is called the radicand. Now, in order to multiply or divide, the index must be the same. So just kind of a couple quick examples here. If you had the fourth root of 7 times the cube root of 7, we have different index in each radical. So because you have a different index, we cannot simplify. Again, because of the different index here. But if I had the cube root of -5 times the cube root of -2, the index is the same. They're both third roots or cube roots. We multiply what's underneath. So we end up with the cube root of -5 times -2, which is +10. Okay, so again, we keep our index, multiply what's underneath. Now, knowing this, let's move into example 1a here. And we will simplify. And we'll actually simplify something else before we start multiplying here. Let's simplify the cube root of 135x to the 5th power. Now, if I look at my power table, here, I have a cube root of 135. Nothing to the 3rd power gives me 135. But do any of these numbers go in to 135? If you do a little bit of checking, you'll figure out that 135 is 27 times 5. And just like with square roots, we can cube root the 27. So 3 comes out front. We have 3 times the cube root of 5, x to the 5th. That 5 is underneath still because I can't cube root the 5. But let's see if we can do something with this x to the 5th. X to the 5th is x cubed times x squared. And the cube root of x cubed is x. So out front, in front of our radical, I have 3x. So I have that x squared that was stuck underneath the radical, and so is this 5 from right here. So my final answer is 3x times the cube root of 5x squared. Now thinking of that absolute value, that whole absolute value situation, simplify, do what we can, then think about, do we need absolute value? Only need absolute value if you have an even root and an even power underneath. In this case, we have an odd root, so no absolute value.